this isn't my normal voice, so if you want to know what it means to have a frog in your throat, this is it. It also sounds like I'm trying to imitate Barry White. But anyway, this is a little bit of a cold. I've titled this because of the business forum, what U.S. investors want in Georgia, but it's also applicable to any of the investors that are coming in, also those that are also here locally that are reinvesting. So let's talk about investor expectations. One of the things that I also teach to my students and I talk about is that business, like life, is all about managing expectations. So let's talk about the different things that we see as the investors want when they come in. One, a stable and business-friendly environment. Consistent and plannable government regulations. And this is important. You know, we can all deal with change, but change that happens immediately that we can't plan for. I mean, even the current situation with the depreciation of the lari, right? If we had something that was more stable, something that was plannable that we would know, it'd be much easier for businesses. And also, if we get legislation, all of a sudden we get new legislation, it can have a detrimental effect if we haven't been able to plan and know what to do with it. This is an interesting one too. No extraneous governmental influence in our businesses. But we still want to have the ability to meet with government regulators and discuss projects and issues. So what this here is showing an arm's length type of relationship, but that we still have access and still can talk to regulators about issues. And I have to say, and my other business association colleagues here as well, we have noticed a change. We are consulted more. We do have more of an input in what's happening in the regulatory process. Legislation that supports business, or at least that doesn't hurt business. We've all been through, and the business community has seen what legislation has done that's actually hurt us. When we had the visa regime, when we had the situation with agricultural land, when there was a new labor code, all of these things that we had an input to that we finally were able to at least put into a situation that didn't hurt business. A business climate that promotes respect of and adherence to the rule of law. And of course, independent, impartial, and efficient judiciary. And this is one of the things that we're all, the business associations are part of, together with the IFIs, the new Investor Council, which is under the Prime Minister. And one of the issues that we're still dealing with in that regard is judiciary and complete independence and competence of judiciary. Do they actually have the competence to be able to really make decisions on the cases that come in front of them? Reasonable taxation and fair implementation of tax rules. I don't think anybody in the business really here worries about the situation with reasonable and fair. We are one of the top 5 countries in the world with regards to our taxation. But are those taxes implemented fairly and reasonably? So this is also where we, the business associations, currently have a problem, is that there are certain audits, certain situations which we don't believe are actually being done fairly and consistently. So this is another thing that we're working on with the businesses. A level playing field for all. You can see this, this different starting points on all of these different polls. But this is what we expect when we as an investor come to Georgia, that we have a fair and level playing field. That one group, one individual, one situation, one corporation doesn't have a benefit over someone else. When we talk about, I don't like to talk, I came out of an environmental business, and so it's hard to get your arms around environmental issues. Whether you talk about bugs and bunnies or clean air or clean water, it all gets, very, very kind of murky. But I like to think of all of these issues under quality of life. And so investors are no different. They want a quality of life for both the current and the future generations. So this is something also that we have to know. We have to prioritize also. We have to prioritize where are environmental issues right now compared to the other aspects of life. Putting food on the table, somebody that's got shelter over their heads. But definitely when we look into the future and we look at our children, our grandchildren, investors want to know that there is a quality of life. This is interesting about CSR, and we had many different conferences on CSR, corporate social responsibility. So this one on the right shows that there is good, profitable returns if you're a good corporate citizen. So make business work for people and planet. And so investors do want to know that. They want to know that if they make fiscally and socially responsible decisions, that those will be rewarded. And the last one, since I'm also in the education business, and so investors want to know that there is an available, educated yet trainable workforce. I mean, Georgia has a long history. I mean, your human resources has been one of the greatest assets that Georgia's had for many years, all the way up from the Soviet times. We had some problems in the early days. There was a lot of corruption in the education business. We're turning that around, but we still have a lot of people who are ready, eager, and trainable to be able, and this is exactly what the investors want. They want to know that they can come in, that they can go and look to either the students, the graduates, and find exactly what they need. Short and sweet. Thank you very much.